Elite teams find ways to win in crucial situations. No team is ever without adversity. No team is ever without their struggles and their hurdles. No team will ever go through a season. Historically speaking, no one goes throughout a season of conference and not lose a series in the SEC. But elite teams find ways to hit when it matters most. The truth is, the top of your lineup tonight looked lost outside of Derek Carriel, outside of Stephen Milam's one hits. I thought everybody else in the bottom of your lineup looked lost in some instances. I mean, you can look at it and say LSU did not strike out a lot tonight. 14 fly balls, at least you're putting the ball in play. But some of the at-bats were just lazy. If you watched the show on Thursday, I was wrong. I picked LSU to win the series. I thought the pitching would overcome things. Where we talked about ad nauseum was that if you thought going into this series against a team with the number one strength of schedule in the country, that the 6-6 mark that they had in the SEC, we should go in there and sweep Auburn. You were warned. Guys, we legitimately do this shit for a living. Nevertheless, we're live. Oh, by the way, elite teams find ways to capitalize when you have the momentum and you can go up on teams. It's how Tennessee grabs momentum. It's how you grabbed momentum a couple years ago. It's how elite teams do it. When you continuously shoot yourself in the foot and the top of your lineup can't come through, that's where you have problems. Nevertheless, we're live. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Here's what also elite teams do. You ready? There are times elite teams go in slumps at the plate, and you're in one. Let me get to this ad read before we get moving here. Every episode and postgame is brought to you by our good friends over at MyBookie. That's mybookie.ag. Guys, the Masters, Sunday, 2:30. Rory is going to be in the mix there. You know that he is going to be in the mix there. So many odds and things to bet with the Masters. Bryson DeChambeau will be in there tomorrow. Who do you think will win the Masters starting at 2:30 tomorrow Central Standard Time? You can go over to mybookie.ag, use the promo code MM50. MM50. You get up to $50 or $2,000 in an initial buy-in or deposit. You will get half of that back in free earnings. That's bet anytime, anywhere at mybookie.ag where the action starts. So let's go through this. Before we get to the game, after Wednesday and after Nichols, it's one thing in bad weather conditions against Oklahoma to have some issues at the plate, to play these low-scored games, to be in these situations where you are on the road and you're in a tough environment, weather not good, and you have to overcome some certain things. On Monday, I said that I felt as if, listen, you're going into a 7-game stretch where you're on the road. 9 times out of 10, that's when shit really starts getting hairy. You find a lot about your team. If you went 6-1, which you won't, if you went 6-1, I feel very confident that you can be an elite team. The likelihood is not great when you go on the road in this conference. Guys, it is tough to win on the road in this league. That's why what made last weekend and what you did on the road so special. Now, you won't go on these back-to-back road series much, and then you did go on the road at Nichols on Tuesday where you also looked flat until they just threw some guys out there that were really bad and you're able to overcome. Auburn didn't have that. Guys, these dudes can swing it. We talked about that they could swing it. They have multiple experienced guys that are going into their third year at Auburn, and you look at them and say, listen, there is no let up in this lineup. That is a great team that you're facing off against. What I saw in the comments, what I saw on social media, what I saw from our own media corps this week was that they're 6-6. We should go in there and beat Auburn. Mother trucker, bro, do you not follow the game outside of LSU? Because if you did, you would know that team's got the number one strength of schedule. You would know that team would battle to be a host spot. And yes, they are a top 16 seed right now, without a doubt. That you're going on the road to a team that, quite frankly, is really good. You got to bring your A game. The interesting part of this for Auburn was they are coming out of their slump. They came out of their slump against Alabama. Sometimes you need a rival to do that. They come out of their slump. They take 2 or 3 there. They beat top 20 Georgia Tech on the road in Atlanta. They come home and they taken the first 2 from you. So now they're getting hot. There's a reason they're a top 11 club. That's what makes last weekend so impressive and why you cannot panic. You lost this series on the road. Guys, it is what it is. And we'll get to that in just a moment. But, guys, Oklahoma run-ruled Vanderbilt today. Run-ruled them. Beat the ever-living dog shit out of them today. This is the SEC. Now, the mentality that you can have is that, and you can bring that football mentality into baseball here. Do I like that you lost your first series? No. Do I think that you can overcome it? Yes. Do I think you're in a slump? Yes. Do I think I'm seeing a lot of dudes that are taking some lazy swings? And what I mean by lazy is not necessarily effort, but in the laziness, everybody's trying to do too much. Do what you can control. And there were a lot of times tonight, and it wasn't your whole lineup. It was not your whole lineup. Guys, Josh Pearson, twice, with critical situations, got hit by a pitch, line drive right back up the middle. Line drive by Pearson, Braswell ground ball right back up the middle. It wasn't your whole lineup. There were some really good swings in there. And you did put the ball in play in the air 14 times. Maybe you're starting to climb out of it. But the nature of it is that you're in a little bit of a lull. You're in a little bit of a lull. And Texas and Arkansas lost today. You could have won today and been a game back from the top part of the SEC. Every game, every matchup, and guys outside of Missouri, let's call it what it is. Outside of Missouri, everybody in this conference is really fucking good. They're really good. Maybe South Carolina you can throw in there. But South Carolina lost 16-12 today? They can't pitch. They can hit a little, but they can't pitch. And Paul's neck is hurting. Listen, man, I hope this is a wake-up call for the Bats. I hope you do not drink Jobu's rum. I hope you sacrifice a live chicken in the dugout. Do what you got to do. Here's the thing I will say. I started off by the show by saying elite teams perform in big moments. Elite teams can go in slumps. Everybody will go in one. Elite teams find a way back quickly, and it doesn't take them long. How do you respond tomorrow? You cannot get swept. You have your 2 best arms out of the pen that can go tomorrow, and it's no hold bars. Chase Shores gets in a little bit of trouble, maybe allows a run, maybe 2, and he's out of there. He's out of there. Can't risk it. Can't get swept on the road. Can't do it. Got to win the game tomorrow. What I would say is that I do feel as if that the SEC might be a little bit more open than maybe we intended. And I say open, but Arkansas and Texas are really freaking good. And I don't think anybody's going to catch them. And both of them lost today. You keep showing play like that, well, and I don't think that you will. I do not think that you will. So anyway, Biggie Bull with a $5 super chat says, Blake, I call bull crap. 14 fly ball outs, loaded innings with a fly ball or out or strikeout. No, and we got a couple of free walks. Still ain't do nothing. We didn't. Biggie Bull, this is what I'd say, man. This is going to happen in the SEC. You don't want it to, right? Like, you don't want this to happen. It's a situation where you never want to lose a series on the road. It is bound to happen to everybody. It is bound to happen to everybody. You're going to lose a series here and there. It's going to happen. Auburn, look, listen. Here's what I don't, Biggie Bull, this is what I'd say. What I think is happening here, too, there's a couple of things happening here. Number one, you have not been good at the plate. And this really started, I would say, game 3 against Oklahoma. You go up against Nichols. Jay says that, look, man, our team's pretty tired. I could see it in them. I mean, can't get their legs up under them. They're really tired. Okay. You come into the next 2 games and you get beat. You get beat. Going on the road for 7 straight games is not easy, especially in this league. On Monday, Biggie Bull, it was of my opinion that I would take the success of you going 4-2. Because I wasn't playing around. A lot of people thought I was an idiot. You know, I said that on Monday, and when I said it, I got comments and mentions on Twitter saying, Blake, you're an idiot. We're going to sweep Auburn. What I think has gone missed here is that you being in a slump at the plate, you having some bad games here, which will happen, and I don't think people realize how good Auburn was coming into the week. I don't. I think we just look past them as if they're some scrub, right? Like, guys, Butch Jones has been to the College World Series 2 out of 5 years. He knows what he's doing. He's got a lot of experience. He recruited really well from the high school ranks, got multiple freshmen, arguably the best freshman catcher in the country in Freilich. And they took it to you. They took it to you. So I do think I did say 5-2. Thank you. Sorry. What did I say? 4-2? Biggie Bull with $2 super chat. Yeah, you did say 5-2 or 6-1 out of 7 games. True. I mean, that's my bad. I said 4-2 just a second ago. But yes, I would take the success of you being 5-2. Can't be 5-3. Can't, or 5-2. I mean, I would take 5-2. You can't take 4 out of 3. Excuse me, my math is all fucked up. Like, of course, I went to public school. Can't be 4-3. Got to be 5-2 or better. 6-1, then you're starting to talk about you being a little bit elite. So again, it's a tough situation to be in. I do think that there's a lot of things that are not going your way. But yes, my math was just fucked up right there. But no, I'm not happy about it. And look, normally we go down things. Look, Anthony Ianson came back to earth tonight. I mean, to some extent. I mean, I say came back to earth, man. He gave you 3 solid innings to start, but the second time through the lineup that they saw him to lead off the inning in the 4th, Snow doubled into center field. There was a play at second base. You reviewed it. He was safe. Rimpert, the freshman, a two-hole hitter, freshman, struck out. Irish, who, again, guys, I think if Ike Irish played anywhere else in the SEC, he would be on the Golden Spikes watch list. I really do. He has an RBI line drive double in the left field. Guys, that's his fourth RBI in 2 games at that point. McMurray, RBI double. And you had a diving play by Josh Pearson, which I guess you could say that both of those plays could be made. I mean, I'm not saying that Curiel's play should be made. That's a tough play regardless. Josh Pearson's, probably should be made. So bottom of the fourth, you weren't fantastic in the field, and it bit you in the ass. And that is a little bit apart, not just at the plate, but translating it onto the field too, right? Like Curiel's had a couple of misjudged balls. Now, the thing with me on Curiel with a freshman, guys, he's probably never played in a situation where the left field wall is 315, and it looks like it's the SEC rendition of the Green Monster. I give freshmen a lot of passes, man, a lot of passes. But bottom of the fourth, I think you should have made the plays, but, I mean, you didn't, and you're down 2-1. But here's the problem with the field situation. You're down 2-1. Guys, what do you mean you can't respond? Because you scored 2 runs. I mean, right? Like, I mean, it's not like you did anything worth a shit. Bottom of the fifth is where Ianson got tagged. Leadoff walks always killed you. He walks Carter. He gets back-to-back flyouts. And guys, I know that the pitching, I mean, the hitting has been bad. You have 2 outs, a runner on second base because the Carter stole, and then you leave on a 1-2 count. A 1-2 count, you leave a ball dick high, pause, but you leave a ball dick high, and he takes it over and it hits the center field batter's eye. He punked it. So Anthony Ianson, we get a ground ball, give up a ground ball single right after that, and he get out of the inning. Ike Irish should hit a little dribbler right back to him. But you did nothing, man. I mean, after that, I mean, guys, you were pretty solid. Like Connor Ware came in the bottom of the 6th, gets a fly out, a strikeout, a walk, and a put out for himself. He comes back in the bottom of the 7th. He gets a strikeout, and then Connor Bench comes in, which I didn't understand taking out Connor Ware at that point. I guess they wanted to save him just in case. I don't know. Bench comes in, but Bench delivers. Right? Like Connor Bench gets 2 flyouts, 1 to the third baseman and 1 to right field. He gives up a ground ball to shortstop, which Bear Jones had to make a tag on. Primo comes in, gets 1 back to himself. He makes the play, a line drive single. Okay, so your bullpen, guys, only gave up a hit. Your bullpen gave up a hit. So from inning 6 to inning 9, your bullpen gave up a hit. A hit. 1, singular. In the top of the 7th, ground ball right back up the middle by Michael Braswell. Stanfield, ground ball, single, right back, or line drive single, right back up the middle. Curiel would fly out, Jones would fly out, Danny Dickinson would walk, and Jake Brown would hit a ball in the center field. So, your bullpen delivered for you tonight. They gave up a hit. You had the bases loaded. In the 7th and 8th inning, and they are dealing for you. It lost you the game. Quite simply, it lost you the game. And that is unfortunate. That is going to happen, and you got to brush it off and worry about tomorrow, which we will not be live tomorrow. We will not be live tomorrow. Your boy's going on vacation. I need it. Maybe they'll do good since I'm on the road and won't be able to watch much. Maybe they'll do good. But a bullpen that came out that, quite frankly, tonight was just not your night. I say all that just to remind everybody, because we're 23 minutes in. When we do these postgame shows, okay, in these postgame shows, we take the games for what they are. We talk about the game. I don't like losing a series on the road, but I will end this before we start getting to some comments here, and we will talk about the football spring game. We will talk about the spring game tonight. Look, man, I still think you're a good team. I still think you're going to figure it out. I still think that Jay can coach this team. I still think you have enough talent to be a really good team. You are a really good team. But look, man, I wish you would have found ways to win it. Right? You don't want to lose a series. It is what it is. And we go from there. Tomorrow is a must win. I say a must win. It's not a must win. But you really need to win tomorrow. I feel like I say this after a lot. Your two best arms are in the pen. Good. I mean, good. Stephen Young says it's bullshit. We have Bama and Tennessee coming up, and the offense better waking up. Well, Stephen, here's the good thing. I would rather you go through this situation against Auburn on the road than have a situation where you have Bama and Tennessee at your place and you lose. I'm not saying that there's a great time to go in a slump, but I'd rather go in the slump right now than against those teams. Jared Miller says, we're good, man. Just a tough load, Ross. I agree with you. I agree with you. Clyde says Butch Thompson coaches Auburn baseball. What did I say? Did I say Butch Jones again? I do that all the time. Guys, sometimes boy, people get mad at you when you misspeak. Butch Jones, the legend of Butch Jones. Maybe I did. I apologize for that. Jared Miller says outfield struggled with the field tonight. Those hits are outs at the box. Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are. But here's the thing. You're down a run. You got to be able to score too. So, like, if that's what we're going to talk about as, like, the issue, then, Dwayne Castillo says Ianson got no help from outfield defense. He didn't. I mean, he still gave up a bomb. I mean, he wasn't bad. I mean, just came back a little bit to hit to the reality. I'm not giving him Curiel's miss. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. Guys, it's two balls hit hard into the outfield. I'm not giving him Curiel's. I'll give him one of the RBIs. I'll give him one of the runs. Okay, if you want to take it, that's fine with me. The other three, I'm not. The home run, I'm not. The home run, I definitely am not. Boy, people get mad at you when you misspeak. Don't ever misspeak. Don't ever come and do this for a living. Don't ever misspeak ever. Because if you do, like I did with Butch Thompson, people are mad at you, man. Andrew says LSU will be ranked in the mid-teens by next week. I don't know about that. No, they won't. They won't fall from 3 to the mid-teens. No, they won't. Now, if you get swept, you can be in the lower I say teens, maybe lower teens. I don't see mid-teens. I don't think you're going to fall that far. I mean, shit. Tennessee, I said the S word while Father Abear's comments up. I mean, shoot. I mean, Tennessee lost 2 or 3, but you can't get swept. If you get swept, then yeah. Father Abear says, not an excuse, but it just feels like everything falls Auburn's way. Hard hit balls right at the players. Every time they get jammed, it finds grass, etc. Father Abear, I feel like that's exactly what happened to you 2 years ago on the Plains. Right? Like, I mean, I really do. I really, really, really do. So, yeah. All right, a couple more. Then we're going to talk about football, and I got to get out of here. I got a massive day tomorrow. Brandon Reese says, at least we get Bama and Tennessee at home. Should be packed stadium for those series. Oh, it will be sold out. It 1,000% will be sold out. Look, man, I'd rather go through it this weekend than go through it against those opponents. Against Arkansas, against Tennessee, against Bama. I mean, all of them. All of those teams come home. And listen, it was never going to be easy for you to go 6-1, ever. I'm not saying it's an impossible task. It's a really tough task. Guys, in this conference, I mean, it is very difficult. Hopefully, the best case is that you go 5-2. You go 5-2 in a 7-game stretch. You reset, you get home, and you go from there. Andrew Malonzo says, I don't keep up with the baseball news, but oh, man. Guidry ain't coming back, brother. I'm going to have to see it to believe it. David says, Blake, do you see the pitcher at Cincinnati that committed to LSU threw a no-hitter this week? I did not. Good for him. You think I wonder if he can come in and pitch now. We need him to come in and pitch now. But your arms weren't the problem tonight. You lost because you had 6 bases or 6 players left on base, and you didn't get a hit when you needed to. You do that at least once, you tie the ball game at minimum. And you got to get a hit. So, yeah. All right. So, before we get out of here, LSU did their spring game today. We did do a thing with Glenn West over Go247. It is on our YouTube channel. Highly suggest that you go listen to that interview with Glenn West. The UFC fights are on. Turn the volume all the way down. Get on your computer. Go over and listen to it. It's a lot of really good intel. I greatly appreciate it if y'all did that after this show. Let's get to this. Let's talk about football for just a moment before we get out of here. Oh, hold on. Baseball. I have confidence you'll take the game tomorrow. Go take the game tomorrow. We'll respond from there. We'll go from there. Football. Let's get to that. So LSU did have their spring game today. A lot to talk about, lot to just kind of recap and talk about this football team in this spring. We'll have a lot of new published content for you coming up in the next couple of days. Just spring recap. So you football heads, you want to talk some football, come in there. We'll have some new content published for you on YouTube. Just come over there. Don't forget to subscribe. The recap and summation for me for LSU this spring. We talked about on Thursday my winners. Well, those winners, remember if you were there, the number one winner for me this spring was the edge rushers, specifically Gabe Rutherford, who I feel like won the camp. Your 4 edge rushers today at the spring game were amazing. Butler, Peyton, Pyburn, Rutherford. Rutherford got a sack. Jamari Butler got 2 sacks. Patrick Peyton, if I'm not mistaken, I think that there was some better footage that I saw that I did think Nuss should have gotten sacked on one of his rushes. But nevertheless, your edge rushers delivered. Guys, there's one glaring thing that I think every LSU fan can be hopeful for transitioning from spring, and there's still 2 more practices, right? Tuesday and Thursday. But if there's one thing that you can hang your hat on and feel good about going into August, because that's really what spring football is all about. The edge room, the edge position has vastly taken an upgrade. And as I have mentioned, I think has the ability to be borderline elite. I do not use those words lightly. I do not mince those words. I don't think that it is stretching it by any stretch of the imagination that unit is at some point next year. I don't know when the game's going to be. I hope it's week 1 versus Clemson. At some point next season, the 4 edge rushers, and even if you can keep all of them. So this could be dated if we go into August. If you keep all of them, your edge rushers they're gonna for a fact win you a game. They might even win you 2. Because if you're in a close game and you are beating a team and they are trailing you, and you got those 4 guys getting after the passer and stopping the run, I would put your unit up with some of the top ones. They have been that impressive so far this spring. Is it because you have a brand new right tackle? Is it because you have a brand new left tackle? Are they dominating 2 guys at tackle that aren't that good? I don't know. I think Tyree Adams has been pretty serviceable. I think you might have an issue at right tackle. I do. You have played some portal politics this spring along the offensive line, which I do not understand from Brad Davis. I do not get it. Leaving in Cohen Eccles, leaving in Paul Mabenga, and not getting other people chances in these situations. Got so bad today that Josh Thompson went in for the first time. No practices that we've seen. Now, he could have done it. He could have done it without us seeing it. But since the media has had the availability, at no point did Josh Thompson come in there and start at right guard or play at right guard. Did today. It had gotten that bad. And I think there was a lot of struggles for Garrett with a bad offensive line. This has been some of the worst offensive line that Garrett has seen, especially at all last year. It is that bad. Because you gave up 4 sacks in 11-on-11 drills. 4. Because you played a modified spring. What is translated out of practice that we've been reporting on this entire time, now you have the footage. A lot of you fans were there. A lot of you were there today. So in that, you saw the same things that we have been seeing. There was never any lying to you or over pumping somebody up. No, Gabe Rutherford sacked Garrett Nussmeier today. And I think for what it's worth, Garrett started seeing some ghosts. And he's not even getting hit from how much the pressure was coming. None of that is on Garrett. None. O-line's got to be better. So as great as the defensive line has been, I don't like seeing your offensive line getting abused the way that they did. There were some runs in there. There were some screens in there, but you had to call those things because you couldn't run the football. These clip videos that you're seeing out there, guys, you get a run for 9. Good. You finally get a run for 9. Then you have 4 straight runs where you get stopped. Guys, that's not good. That's not good. You had 9 carries for 10 yards. Not good. Something's got to give and something has to change there. That is just an outright fact. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they need to figure it out. Number 2, speaking of defensive line, guys, Sadir Mitchell did not go today. Precautionary. I'm sure they're going to rehab whatever happened to him last week, but he was back out at practice on Thursday. Keep rehabbing. Get in the weight room. There's going to be – I am going to tell you this. I don't care what anybody tells you. LSU, regardless if they take one or not, is going to look at a defensive tackle and a safety in the portal. Know it for a fact. Not thinking, not asking an opinion. For a fact, they're going to go out there and at minimum scout, talk to, and think about, and even potentially go after a defensive tackle and safety. They need one. They need him. They need him. Not the only position they're going to do that too. If there's an interior offensive lineman, there won't be an interior offensive lineman, in my opinion, that will be worthy enough to be here unless you're tampering, which, guys, let's call it what it is. Who gives a shit anymore about tampering? Who really gives two Rudy Poos? Got to be better there. Got to be better in those situations. But you got to go get a safety. Defensively, guys at corner today, you were really good. You were really good. The thing, though, is the quarterback play and the offensive line play were not subpar today. There are a lot of fans that were there today. Blake hates Garrett. Okay. He's not getting hit. There's a lot of overthrown balls on these fade routes. A lot. Way too many. Way too many. This offseason for the offense, who has been clunky, very clunky, all spring, every day, this quarterback room, the both of them, not just one quarterback, the both of them, and this wide receiver room have got to be together nonstop. The pettiness, the bullshit, anything that's going on in that locker room, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I don't give two shits. They are not ready. They're not. They need to have a big offseason. I am tired of pussyfooting around it. Oh, my God, this is the guy that comes out here and freaks out during spring football. Y'all go right on ahead, because I will put up my track record versus any one of your tweets. Did it this week. Call us out for it. Guys, you were clunky last spring too. And what happened? I pray to sweet baby Jesus alive that we come in here in August and they've worked their asses off and they are not as clunky. Right now, you are clunky. I saw a lot of people talking about the success in the red zone. Guys, they placed the ball at the 2-yard line. They ran a quarterback draw. They scored a touchdown. They can't touch the quarterback. They were yelling at Gabe Rutherford for touching Garrett Nussmeier on a quarterback draw. You're running the ball from the 2-yard line. You're running 2-point conversions. This offense has got to take a step up. Now, the flip side of that is this. You didn't see Nick Anderson today a lot. You didn't see Barrion Brown with the first team hardly at all. And Barrion Brown had a really good day, a very good day. Barrion Brown, who we pegged as might be the biggest sleeper wide receiver in the portal, which he is. He still is. He was the biggest sleeper. He had a good day. He had a really good day. They are too clunky. If it's the first time that you're watching this show, if it's the first time that you're hearing anything about a spring report, here's the truth. They have not looked sharp to me, not once the entire spring. There has not been a situation where I could have said, well, last week they had a really good day. Today they were okay. They weren't great. They weren't bad. I mean, they were solid. They were average. They were clunky. They'd make a good play, then have three straight incompletions. Exactly what happened today has been happening all spring. And you get mad at me for judging spring football. Guys, what do you want? What do you want to have happen? You have a 1,000-yard receiver returning in Aaron Anderson, a freak at Trey'Dez Green, and there's nothing that I see from any of you, which I see from all of you, is, man, we got elite talent on the outside and at tight end. Well, if that's your opinion, why are we missing? Because your quarterback's not getting hit. And in that, they allow him to throw the football. He will throw the football at any given point. He's not going to get touched. So those passes that even if there's pressure, they still need to be completed. Or you still need to make a good throw because you will not get hit. Let's test the ball downfield and see what happens. And they've been doing that, and the deep passing game has not taken a step forward. That is a fact. The wake-up call, if there is one, you better get in the gym, you better get on the field, and there better be a nonstop religious effort of working your ass off to have better connection. Because if you don't do that and you come into August and you're clunky, then guys, I fear for what happens week 1. You have been clunky. Now, here is what I think is going to happen. So I said all of that, the doom and gloom. I said all of that to say this. I think come August, things will be better. Here's why. The reason that I think that things will be better is because, number one, I think one of those freshmen is going to move to left guard. I think that if it's not one of the freshmen, that DJ Chester is going to move to guard, and then Josh Thompson is going to move to guard. It's what I think is going to happen. We've been talking about this a lot, and that's not your rotation right now. That needs to really be the first unit once the spring portal ends. As much as we talked about the receiving room and the quarterback play and the connections, that offensive line room needs to live in the weight room and at the squat rack. They need to live on the board drills outside. The extra effort has got to be there because, guys, you got bullied today. They got bullied. Where there's some situations that you were put in. By the way, guys, and let me just say this. Everything in this game is scripted. Every play call that Joe Sloan has is a conversation that's going with Blake Baker about what coverage is to run and what he's going to run here. Every one of them. Every single one of them. And the offense gets what's beneficial to them. That is how these practices go now. All right. Another thing for offense. I do think you're going to see more of Harlan Berry. I do not like that. I do like that he is showing who he is. Need to get Harlan Berry some touches. Even in week 1, you got to get him a touch or two. See what happens. Wide receiver is another thing. We went an entire spring with Berrien not really running with the ones. He will be there come August. Barring any setbacks with Nick Anderson health-wise, he will be in there too. So the clunkiness and the bad things that you've seen can instantly start changing come August once some of these guys from the portal start really taking the reps. And you need them to. The reason you went and got Braylon Moore, and let's call it what it is with every one of these guys. The reason you went out and paid 2 receivers, the reason you went out and paid for a receiver, the reason you went out and paid for a tight end is not for that you thought that they cannot, number one, contribute at a high level, but they won't be essentially some of your starting dudes. That is a fact. You're not paying Josh Thompson, and you're not going to give him a shot. I'd be shocked. So, in recap of this, guys, I have tried to tiptoe around the situation all spring. I don't care what you say to me anymore about it. I am going to stay truthful and have always stayed truthful to who and what we're seeing. I will put the track record up against anybody on this beat of what we've seen. You people that are here every night, you know. There is hope. There is a lot of hope. Let me not even say there's a hope. That's a bad word. there's a very good chance that you look completely different come August, which really is the ultimate thing that matters. Doesn't stop the fact that you've been overly clunky. Guys, your interior offensive line play is not good enough. I can't emphasize that enough. There were 4 times that the interior defensive line got pressure, which forced these ends to get sacks. Guys, you got obliterated up front. So, look, man, we'll see. We'll see. You got holes in this team. You got holes in this team. How big of an effort and how big of an effort can you want to put forth to not be in the same situation that you were in a year ago? That is the question I have for you. If you don't put in the work, nothing is going to change. So, I've said my piece. All right. That's not going to make me a lot of friends. It's not going to make me a lot of friends. David says what's going to be interesting is to see the O-line does the next step by fall. How will they fare? I hope they fare flawlessly. Right? Like, I hope they I hope they go flawlessly. But that is an outright fact. Listen, I get skittish sometimes. I say skittish. That's a bad word too. I pause. Right? Like I take a massive pause every time that I'm critical about any position. The chat will be stupid when we post this clip. It's going to go dumb. It's going to go dumb. Guys, I just don't care anymore. Like I really don't. Either you're going to like the content or not like the content. Either you're going to like the truth or hate the truth. I can't help it. I can't help what I see. Guys, nobody on this I shouldn't say nobody. Nobody wants them to have success and win. Guys, we lost to Auburn last night, baseball-wise. It was our lowest viewed post-game show this season. The worst. The outright worst. From a viewership standpoint, the worst. When you lose and people's morale goes down, my views go down. Nobody wants them to win more than somebody that makes money off of them winning. Nobody. But why would I do and say what I'm saying? Why? Because you hate Garrett. No, the fuck I don't. I purposely did something this week that we had not done all spring. Don't believe me? You know what we're going to do? We're going to run people all off in here. I'm barely going to speak, which is what the interviews that you'll see this week. New, fresh content. And I'm going to let them tell you. Spectrum Wellcare says hopefully Alex Atkins has some input on offensive line. I don't know if he does. But this was not a good spring for this offensive line and Brad Davis. It's a fact. It's an outright fact. All right. Guys, I got to get out of here. We will not be here next week until Friday. You will not see my beautiful smile in live until Friday, unless something very, very crazy happens, which it could happen. I will be on vacation. We will have a lot of new content be published this week. So be on the lookout for that. Until then, I love all of you. I hope y'all have a good couple of days. I'm going to go take me a rest, relax, And we'll see you on the post game next Friday. Thank you for allowing me to do this. I greatly appreciate it. I wouldn't want to do anything else, but your boy's going on vacation. Till then, we're signing off. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Go Tigers. Peace.